Hi and hello. I hope all is well with you wherever you are in the world today, and welcome. This is Dune Imperium, and I am Admiral Trench. I would appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel. I'm only going to do a little bit of arranging the camera here because, as you can see, the orientation is a little bit wrong. I had to dismantle my whole, let's see if I can get the screen going. Here we go. Okay, wonderful. I see what I can do. So let's do one of these. We're going to tilt the game board like this. Yeah, I think that's better. And then we're going to tilt it down like that. Yes, yes. Good. Good. All right. I think that's pretty good, right? Nice. Yeah, not too bad. All right. I apologize for that. So I had some friends over this weekend and we all played board games. So I had to clear the table, which meant reorienting everything for the start of this game. All right. I think I like where it's at. If anything, I'll just sort of actually, there's one more little adjustment I want to make before we can get into this. Now, okay, so I've bought some items. I've been waiting over like 2 weeks now for these items to arrive in the mail. Must have been, actually, I should take that back. No, it's been about 2 weeks because I purchased them on the 15th. And so far I got the dice and I got some more LEDs, but that's it, and the other items haven't arrived yet. And so I could check the tracking and get this. One of the items came to Portland, where I live, and I thought, oh, great, I'll probably see it a day from now. And then I checked the tracking the next day when it didn't arrive, and it's all the way in Atlanta, Georgia. Now it's in Florida, and I'm going, what? What should I do now? I mean, I guess I got to just keep watching it and see where it goes. Hopefully it comes back to Portland, but it's just so strange. Everything else is, the other package is in New York, customs. It came from Poland, and then I have another package in Poland. So something I bought recently that I'm really excited to share is there's certain cards that say block board spaces with Bene Gesserit. And so I bought these really cool purple acrylic board spaces that you put on the, like, say, Carthag or something. And it's just like a Bene Gesserit space blocker. So it marks the space as unusable. I just think that's a really cool thing to do. Now, in the last two games, I had oriented these LEDs to point upward. And then now, as you can see, I've tilted them to the side so the row is the color which matches the corresponding faction: white, red, purple, blue. And it just makes it look cool. It's not too glaring, and you can still see a little bit of the symbol on the actual token itself. Then I started thinking about it, and I was like, why don't I also mark these with LEDs, these trackers, so you can see things throughout the board? And maybe we'll do that. I don't know. I have to get there first. Might have to buy some more LEDs soon. I am nearly halfway to my goal of reaching $1,500 so that I can purchase a computer. I'm close to $600 now, and I'm excited because the money's coming quicker than I had thought. So that's really cool. And yeah, this thing is going to be a really cool. Oh, and also I have a camera that I'm going to spend $200 on. And if that camera is no good, I could just get a refund. So I will be trying that out in the not so distant future. And I really hope to improve the quality of the live stream itself. So anyways, with all that, let's get into this game. Today, I'm going to be playing as a very difficult character, Ariana Thorvald. She may be the most difficult of all of them, in my opinion. I have the least amount of good luck with her. So I hope that I win. But, you know, it's always tough with this character. So yeah, one of the reasons why she's so challenging is because you get one less spice every time you take spice, and you get a water every time you get your signet ring. So it incentivizes you to keep your deck very, very small so you can utilize the water as much as possible. But whenever you harvest spice and you gain one less spice, but you get to draw a card, and that's quite good, actually. So we're just going to have to see how it shakes out. Now, for Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, I want to mention, the opponents begin with water and one intrigue card. It also costs 5 instead of 2 Solari. And, oh no, I'm getting pop-ups all over my computer, so give me a moment to close all these pop-ups out. There. Okay, pardon me. So yeah, it costs 5 instead of 2 Solari to use the Mentat space. I am not allowed to use a Swordmaster at any point in the game. And during the third round, at the beginning of the third round, my opponents will get their Swordmasters. All right, so what else is there to discuss? Oh yeah, the table itself that this game board sits on, this is a 4-foot by 8-foot table that I have made myself. And I've always used felt, right? This red felt. Now, previously I had used gray. And then I switched to red. The trouble with felt is after many, many nights of playing board games, you get these little tefties, right? These little, I don't know what you call them, on the actual material itself. It starts to like ball up. And as much as I try to keep this table clean, I need to get like one of those Dirt Devil vacuum cleaners, you know, to like get all the little crumbs off. Because I got friends sometimes that eat chips and stuff, and it's tough. I try to do the best I can to keep it as clean as possible, but it's just such a chore. That is all going to change. I'm going to be buying a new tabletop, which I'm confident is going to be a permanent fixture, because it's one of those like game tops, like it's a game pad. So like the kind of stuff, like if you play card games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh, a lot of the times you'll see people like roll out these game pads, and it's got like a rubber finish on the bottom and a soft fabric on the top. It's like a really cool picture on it. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, because I'm right now deciding whether I want to go with like an ocean decal or an outer space decal. I don't know. But if I go with the outer space decal, for the most part, the canvas is going to be black with stars speckled throughout and some other cool, like, I don't know, nebulas or something like that. But if it's dark, then spots and little crumbs are going to show up really bright. I suppose that Dirt Devil is in order. I should just buy one of those handheld little things so I can just quickly vacuum it up, and that would solve that problem. But yeah, I think I might go with like a nebula on the top of this table. I think that would look really cool. But anyways, what are we doing? Why am I talking about all this stuff? I guess it's just because I'm excited to be investing so much in my gaming hobby. It's really awesome, and I've got cool friends that come over every Friday, and we jam. All right, so let's get into the game. I'm going to begin the first round, and let's make it fun and exciting. The conflict, the first round, is going to win a victory point, a water for second place. It's a skirmish. But before we begin, let's do this. Let's see here. Sayadina for 3. It allows you to go to Bene Gesserit and Fremen spaces. 3 waters gets you a victory point. Okay, so that's a really good card, because my character gets you water every time you use a signet ring, so I might possibly buy that. If you have a Fremen bond, you get 3 persuasion. Shifting allegiances. For 3 persuasion, You can go to green and yellow spaces, and if you mark down one of your faction trackers and spend 2 spice, you can move your another faction tracker up 2 spaces, and on a reveal phase, you get 2 persuasion. Desert Ambush for 3 persuasion. It's a Fremen card. It allows you to go to triangle spaces, and it says, for each troop you deploy this turn, you may force an enemy unit to retreat, and on a reveal phase, you get 1 persuasion and 1 combat point. Scout for 1 persuasion allows you to go to blue spaces and yellow spaces, and on a reveal phase, you get 1 persuasion and 1 combat, and retreat up to 2 of your troops. Smuggler's Thopter. That's for 4 persuasion, and it's a spacing guild card. It allows you to go to triangle spaces, and if you have 2 influence with the spacing guild, you get to draw 2 cards, and on a reveal, you get 1 persuasion and 1 spice. Reclaimed Forces. Oh, beg your pardon. That's just always a fixture on the board. I meant to say this is the Imperium Row Slig Farmer for 2 specimen. It allows you to go to green spaces, but must be grafted. It's 1 Solari for each agent icon on the other grafted card. And if you have 5 spice, you can move your Twi'leksu tracker 1. On a reveal phase, you get 1 persuasion, and Stitched Horror for 3 specimen. You get to graft the card for blue spaces, and you get to choose 2, gain water, gain a troop, and trash a card, or use your Twi'leksu tracker. You get 1 persuasion and 1 combat. On a reveal phase, you get to choose 2 of those options up in this row. So that's pretty cool. All right, so there's a way you can get some water here, and there's some use for water over here, but this costs 3 specimen. That's the trick. That's quite a bit. And yeah, I guess I might be able to use Stitched Horror only because Ariana Thorvald lets you draw cards, so that could be a thing. To be honest, Sayadina is the card I want more than any of them, and then Stitched Horror may come next. Here we go, drawing 5 cards. I've got 2 daggers, reconnaissance, a convincing argument, and seek allies. So that's going to put me at 3 persuasion. All right. Oh, man. That's awful. Because if I want to buy Sayadina now, I need to use seek allies, and then I guess I could use dagger to go to... All right, here's what I could do. I could go to Seek Allies, get Still Suits, get water right away. In the first round, trash out the card. Then in the second round, I guess I could use Check Negotiation space, get an additional Persuasion, which really wouldn't do me any good, but I could put a Negotiator in here. And then I could get Memo Quarters down the road. I mean, that's a possibility. Anyways, yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So seek allies to begin the game. I'm going to trash out this card. I'm going to move my agent here, move my tracker up 1, and get myself a water. Great. Now we're going to go to Count Ilban Richis. What does he want to do? Let's find out. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Dude, busted. He went to tech negotiation. He does not have any spice to buy anything, so he just puts a tech negotiator in. That's what I wanted to do. Golly, I gotta stop telling these guys my strategy. Somehow the heart of the cards knows what I want to do. Okay, that's all right. Now let's do what Moritani wants to do. Let's see what he does. He cannot go to tech negotiation. Jeez. Ah, come on. Dreadnought. So he gets himself a Dreadnought, and he does not have an opportunity to get a tech icon right now. So instead, he just puts a troop in the tech negotiator space. And we move along to my next turn. So all of the spaces that I could use have been used, which means that, okay, well, let's think about this. Actually, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. I'll tell you why. I could use reconnaissance, and I can go to Haderach. Knowing that I've already drawn my Sikh allies, I already have my 2 daggers. There's no way I could draw a card that doesn't offer persuasion in the reveal phase. So I can do that. And I think I may, because I might as well get a troop out of it. Yeah, out of this round, I might as well go for a troop. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. Using reconnaissance, I will now go to Haderach. And will I push in for combat? I'm going to go back down to 2 persuasion. Will I push in for combat? It's a really silly idea. In all seriousness, it genuinely is. Hey, all right, I got another convincing argument, which puts me at 4 persuasion. Cool. All right, that worked out. And I can generate a troop. Do I want to push in for persuasion? All I would be able to do is push in 3 total troops, but I also have 2 daggers, so that would be an 8. But keep in mind, this guy's got a dreadnought, and hey, I would get a water if I win 2nd place, and I already have a water, and next round I will have a water, and if I get Saradina, that could be a victory point right there. So yeah, I think I am going to push in for combat. In fact, get an easy one, 6. And we'll move on to the next round with Count Ilban Riches. What does he want to do? He's going to take secrets. It's going to move his... I got to spread out these trackers just a little bit here because I kind of bundled them up a little bit close. All right, he moves his tracker up 1, and he gets himself an intrigue card. Good for him. Rightio. We're moving on to Moritani. Selective breeding. I'm going to win this combat. All right. That is awesome. He moves up 1. Well, then. Now I'm a little disappointed, but it's a free victory point. So, okay, I'm a little disappointed only because I put in so many troops. Okay. So, let's get into the reveal phase now. Draw 2 daggers, so I'm at 8 combat. Oh, wow. That's a little overkill. I've got 4 persuasion. I will buy Saradina. Sayadina is now mine for the taking. It allows you to go to Fremen spaces and Bene Gesserit spaces, so that will be good. Gunthopter. For 4 persuasion, it allows you to go to blue and yellow spaces, and it says each opponent loses 1 garrison troop. And then on a reveal phase, you get 3 combat points, and you may deploy a troop from your garrison to the conflict. That's pretty rad. Okay, so now we're going to go. That was the 2nd agent phase. Goodness gracious. And the reveal phase is over. We're going to go into combat phase. I've got to use this better. And here I thought that I would, by marking the agents, I would be doing better with this. And it's still a challenge. It is still a difficult challenge. Okay, let's see here. Combat phase. Who wins combat? I wonder. I do. So I get a victory point, and nobody gets anything else on the board. So now we're going to resolve the winnings as we have. We're going to put spice out now as well. I also bought myself a fancy new dish to put all the resources in. It's got like a spice shape, a water shape, a Solari shape, and little slots for the 5 coin tokens to go into. Yeah, it'll just sit over here and it will keep it all contained instead of all my resources sitting on the side of the table. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting that. Anywho, with that being said, we put out spice, return combat trackers to their home positions, return troops to their supply, flip the next conflict card. All right. Raid stockpiles. I'm going to round 2. We go back to agent phase 1. We put this at the 1 position. And what do we do from there? I guess we roll the Imperium Row dice. 2 5s. That's going to be Smuggler's Thopter is off the table. And we reveal Chris Knife. For 3 persuasion, you can go to Fremen spaces and yellow spaces, and you get a Solari. Every time you use it on agent phase and during your reveal phase, you get combat. And with Fremen Bond, you get to raise your Fremen tracker up 1. Honestly, that might be the next thing I buy. Yeah, seriously, because I already have Sayadina, which is a Bene Gesserit and Fremen card. So, and with Fremen Bond, you get the 3 persuasion. So, if I draw those 2 cards at the same time, and considering Ariana Thorvald is a card drawer, good things could happen. So we'll just have to see how that rolls out. Now we give first player token to Richis. We bring all agents back to their home positions. Yep, right here, here. Oops, that's the 3rd agent. All right, that was a free victory point. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, Ariana Thorvald is the most difficult character to be, in my personal opinion, only because just what to do with getting 1 less spice. That is so difficult to manage. Anyway, so Richis, what will you do? The first turn, he's going to Carthag, and he's going to generate himself a troop and push 3 troops into combat, putting him at 6 combat points. And he also gets himself an intrigue card. No, he doesn't. That's what the space says. According to the card, he moves his Twi'leksu tracker up 1, and he destroys Slig Farmer. Slig Farmer is gone. Gone, baby, gone. Twi'leksu Infiltrator for 2 specimen. You can graft it. It allows you to go to blue spaces. Enemy agents don't block your agents this turn, and you draw a card, and if you have 2 genetic markers, you get an intrigue card. And it gives you 1 persuasion on a reveal turn. So that's pretty nice. All right, so now we're going to move forward to, let's have a look here, to Moritani. Fold space for the guy. He goes here, he moves his tracker up 1, and that's all he does. Now it goes to me. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, I drew a card last turn, so I have 4 cards left in my deck, so I got to shuffle my discard pile now. And since I just bought a card, I got to shuffle it really, really good. The trouble is I got those daggers, so I hope I don't draw a dagger. All right, I think 3 shuffles is good enough. Let's see what I drew. Sayadina. All right, that's not too shabby. It's not too shabby, but what will I do this round? What I will do for the first round, what I want to do is I want to go to let's see here. So first place in combat gets an intrigue card and 3 spice. Second place gets 2 spice. I doubt I will be able to win this combat. So I can get myself some water if I go to smuggling. I'd get a Solari, and I could move my Chome tracker up 1. And I may, in fact, just do that. And then what to do on my next round, that's another question altogether. I may go back to still suits so I can get that victory point. Yeah, or I could go to secrets and get a intrigue card. I just don't know. Yeah. By the way, let's see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 total persuasion. Yeah, I would like to get memo quarters is good as well. Huh. I forgot that the guy stole my space that I wanted to go to tech negotiation. Anyway, yeah, let's just get this out of the way. I will use Signet Ring. Yeah, Signet Ring to go to smuggling. That's going to allow me to move my tracker up 1. I will get a Solari. And I get a water as well for having used my signet ring, which is quite nice. All right, wonderful. Now we're going to go into Agent Phase 2 with Count Ilban Riches. He will harvest spice, which means he's going here and he's going to push in his last troop, which puts him at 8 combat. He's going to get 4 spice total. All right, and now we're going to go to Moritani, who cannot fold space. He's already gone there. He's going to go to selective breeding, and he's going to get himself a victory point. No, yes, victory point. I thought he was going to overtake me for a second. I don't know how I missaw that. It's okay. Now we're going to get to my second agent, and yeah, what do I want to do is the question. I guess what I could do right away is I can go to still suits, and if I have 3 water, which I would generate, I would get a victory point, and I'd get a victory point for going to the Fremen space. So I might as well just do that now and be done with it. So Sayedina gets used. I go to still suits. I generate a victory point, putting me at 2. I generate a water for having gone to still suits, and I spend the 3 water to get a victory point. I'm coming out of the gates pretty hot, but you will see they will overtake me quite quickly, so I'm not too confident in that. All right, now we're going to go back to, oh, that's it, actually. So it's going to go now to my reveal phase. And wouldn't you know it, I've got 3 persuasion, so I can get Chris Knife, as I had originally wanted. Oh my goodness. Shai Halud allows you to go to triangle spaces for 7 persuasion, and when you buy it you get to trash out a card, and if you use it on an agent phase you trash a card to get 2 troops, and if you've got Fremen Bond you get 5 combat points. Okay, surprisingly I want that card. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I want it. Also, because I have 2 experimentations, I get to put 2 specimen in the oxalotl tanks, and there they will sit waiting patiently to be used. All right, wonderful. So with all that being said, let's get into the combat round. And all right, great. Looks like Riches is fighting no one, but he gets 1, 2, 3, 4 total combat points out of that, putting him at 12. He wins. So what does he get? An intrigue card, which puts him at 3 intrigue cards. So he will get a victory point. Here's his victory point now. And 3 spice. Now, it's also important to remember that when you're playing this game with the Rise of Ix expansion, your opponents do not spend 7 spice for a victory point. Instead, they hoard spice for the sole purpose of using these tech tiles. Otherwise, they only require 3 water to get a victory point, 3 intrigue cards to get a victory point, and 7 Solari to get a victory point. So let's see here. All right, the winnings have been resolved. Now it's time to move spice onto the board. We're going to give this guy 1. We're going to give Imperial Basin 1. We're going to return the combat tracker to its home position, return all troops to their respective supplies. And let's see here, what else? Flip the next conflict card. All right, it's purposeful, terrible purpose. Return this agent back up here. Move this back over here. Okay, great. And Moritani begins the next round. So with that being said, I think it's safe to say we can return all agents back to their home positions. Yes, I have done all that there can be to do. I've done everything. Beg your pardon. Oh, roll the Imperial Row dice. 1 and 2 are gone. Say goodbye to Gunthopter and Shifting Allegiances. They are toast. Imperial Shock Trooper and Benny Twi'lek's Lab. Imperial Shock Trooper is an Emperor card, and for 3 persuasion, you can buy it and do nothing on an agent phase. But on a reveal phase, it gives you 1 persuasion, 2 combat. And if you have an agent on an Emperor board space, plus 3 additional combat. The Benny Twi'lek's Lab for 2 persuasion allows you to go to blue and yellow spaces, and you get to put a specimen in the Oxalotl tank. It gives you 1 persuasion on a reveal phase, and if you have 1 genetic marker, you get 1 spice. That's actually quite nice, but I just don't foresee myself using it. So I don't know what I'm going to do. All right, so agents have been returned. We are now back to what looks like round 3, which means that the opponent gets their Swordmaster. So let's see what happens in this round. This is where the temperature gets hot. This is where the guys that you're playing against go crazy. Here is where it gets tough. The first 2 rounds, that was just a warm-up. All right, Moritani, what'll it be? What do you want to do? You haven't even gotten into combat once in 2 rounds. He's going to go to smuggling all the way over here, and he's going to move his Chome Tracker up 1. When you're playing against House Hagal, it's important to note that they do not go to the 3rd Chome Track position. They move their tracker up 2, and then they go down and get all the benefits, which includes a victory point, because with 7 Solari gets you a victory point, and on this Chome Tracker, one of the options is that you get 8 Solari. So they're always going to go for their victory points at every opportunity. So that's not fun that he got that. That's okay. Let's move on to my turn. I will draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, this is a just terrible turn. I've got 5 persuasion because I have 2 convincing arguments, 2 daggers, and a reconnaissance. Right out of the gates, what I ought to consider is, pardon me, I could use my dagger and go to tech negotiation and put a troop in the negotiator space. I could put a negotiator in the tech negotiation space. That would get me 1 additional persuasion point, putting me at 6. Only 1 away from getting enough for Shai-Hulud, which isn't going to be enough because how else could I draw cards? Just looking at everything on the board, I have no Solari. Smuggling has already been taken, so I can't go back and get Solari now. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't because I don't have any triangle cards. So it's just kind of a bummer. What I ought to do, it's kind of crazy. What if I used reconnaissance and went to Carthag? Got an intrigue card. No. I might do that next round in all seriousness, but just not now. Right now, I need to think about right now. So yeah, I'll do what I can with what I got. Tech negotiation. I will take my agent and go here, move my tracker to 6, and put a negotiator in the tech negotiation space. Hopefully I can get something down the road. I guess with that being said, it's not a very fun turn. It's not really well utilized, but that's the best I can do. So let's go back to Count Ilban Reachis for his first turn of the game. He goes to Hardy Warriors. He goes here, moves his tracker up 1. He generates himself 2 troops and pushes them into combat, which gives him 4 combat points. And then we're going now to Agent Phase 2 for Moritani, who will go to Interstellar Shipping, but he cannot because he does not have 2 influence with Spacing Guild. So instead, he will go to Hayliner, and that's definitely going to be good for him. He's going to get himself his victory point from that tracker, and he's going to generate himself 3 troops into his garrison. This makes him especially dangerous. All 3 of his troops go into the combat, and then he puts in his dreadnought and an additional troop. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 8 plus 3, 11. Great. That's not going to be fun to beat. But it goes now to me, and I need to think about what I want to do. I don't see how. Have I drawn anything that could get me to have I? Let me see. Luckily my discard pile is on the side, so I can look and see my odds. There's absolutely no way I would be able to draw a card that would generate more influence. I would need to draw 2 cards somehow, and that's not feasible. So going to Haderach would be of little use to me. I couldn't utilize that. That's the only way I would want to go there, is to draw a card. So what I'm left with is I don't have any I have 1 Solari. It's just not going to get you anything. Reconnaissance to Carthage. That's what I'm left with. I mean, I might as well get an intrigue card since I got nothing better to do. It's just a dud round for me. I do get to generate a troop into my garrison, and absolutely under no circumstances will I be getting involved in this combat. Coal. Ooh, actually, that's kind of nice. I could use that right now and trash out a dagger, and I might do that. And I think I will, in fact, because I actually have 1 Solari. So I will use coal, trash it out, get rid of my dagger in my play area. It's trashed. That's good. That's good. I need to do that. I need to get rid of cards. So that's nice. All right, that wasn't so bad. And now we're going to go to Richis, who cannot go to Carthage because I just went to Carthage, but he can go to Research Station, and he does. He has no additional troops to push into combat, but he does get to move his Twi'lexu Tracker 2, which gets him an intrigue card. Richis, all the way up there. And that's it for him. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to, let's see here. Agent Phase 3. Moritani will go to Still Suits. He will now move his Fremen tracker up 1, and he will push the last 2 troops he has into combat, putting him at 15 combat points. And that's it for him. That's every troop of his, which I actually like. He's going to get a victory point, tying with first, which is me. But all these troops go away. Whereas at the beginning of this round, he had a lot of troops. They will all go away. His dreadnought will be gone for the next round. So I feel nice about that. My opponent will have no troops in the next round. Then it goes to me for my reveal phase. I've got 4 persuasion total, plus the 1 on tech negotiation, which puts me at 5 persuasion. There is nothing I want for 5 persuasion. There's just no good cards. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no good cards. Now, Twi'lexu Infiltrator, I might be able to afford that, sure, but it just graphs, and you get to draw a card, which is good. But the other thing it does, enemy agents don't block your agents this turn. That's okay, actually, because then I would be able to go to Haderach and draw 2 cards. Drawing cards is good for me. I need to get Solari, so maybe I should do that. If you think about it in a way, it's like it's like getting a free card because you automatically get to draw a card. So your hand is never short. You know what I mean? So that's actually a good investment. And I think I am going to buy it for 2 specimen actually, because it just lets you draw another card and your agents don't get blocked. So I could go to a Rakeen. Enemy agents don't block your agent this turn. You can draw a card. Let's think about this though for a minute. How often do I see myself using this for the course of the game? With only 2 agents too. No, it's after all, it's not worth it after all. I'm putting my specimen back into the axolotl tanks. Get back in those tanks. No, I'm just being silly, and honestly, I need to focus more on doing other things before I think about that. So, I'm just being so silly right now, aren't I? No, I will buy it. I'm being so dumb. I'm buying it. I got to make up my mind and just move on. Okay, so I will buy it after all. Now let's reveal the next card in the Twi'leksu track. Piter, Genius Advisor. Goodness, that guy keeps showing up. For 3 specimen, it allows you to go to green spaces and yellow spaces. And if you lose a troop, you get to draw 2 cards and move your research track. Also, you get 1 persuasion and 1 combat point on a reveal. Okay, so all right, that's my turn. That is my reveal. It is done. So let's now move forward into the combat phase. So let's see how... Oh, actually, I take that back. Combat's not resolving yet. It's going to Moritani. Somehow I did my reveal turn before Moritani had... I don't know how things got out of sequence, and I apologize for that. I don't know what happened, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I didn't have any more agents to use anyway, so even if things did go awry, they're not so terribly awry. So there he is. That is it. So now it will go to combat phase, and it goes to me for my reveal phase, and Richi's back up there. So he gets himself 2 combat points. And Moritani is definitely going to take the win and get 17 combat points. So Moritani gets a victory point. And second place gets a water and a spice. So Ilban Harichis gets one of those and one of those. All right, great. So the winnings have been resolved. And now it's going to become crazy if I do not go to the Imperial Basin. The Great Flat, Haga Basin, and Imperial Basin. That would get me 3 spice, not 4, because Ariana's ability, but I get to draw a card. All right, so that has been done. We've put out the spice. We return the combat trackers to their home position. We return troops to the supply. His dreadnought will go here, and his troops go here. Flipping the next conflict card, moving forward to round 4. I always love fighting for this position. I might do that. Move this tracker all the way back up. Move this tracker back here. Let's see here. Roll the Imperium Row dice. 4 and 5. Scout and Shai Halud are gone. That's terrible. Bene Gesserit's sister for 3 persuasion allows you to go to Bene Gesserit spaces and green spaces, and on a reveal, you get either 2 persuasion or 2 combat. Missionaria Protectiva for 1 persuasion allows you to go to 1 blue space, and if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you get 1 faction increase. and 1 persuasion on a reveal. So, Missionaria Protectiva. All right. Now we will be done with that round. So return all agents back to their home positions. Here, I get to start the next round. I'm excited about that. All right, great. So let's see here. Let me draw my next hand. Everything is in the discard pile. I'm gonna shuffle this a couple times. Yep, there we go. Ah, Fremen Bond. Very nice. Very nice indeed. That's going to be good. So, cool. Oh, and I got this bad boy. All right. That's going to be great. Sort of. Wait. No, this is bad. Wait, is it? I got to think about this. What do I do? Okay, hold on. Hold on. All right. Now, I've got to use the Fremen Bond because I would get 3 persuasion and I get to move the tracker up 1. Very important. So these 2 cards, it's almost as if they don't exist. But let's say I take, so that's 3 persuasion. Let's say I take Twi'lexu Infiltrator and I attach it to Convincing Argument and I take it to Arrakeen. Ooh, I would have to do that on the second agent phase because enemy agents don't block my agent this turn, so I don't have to worry about spaces being used. Right now, I should go to Imperial Base and get 3 spice and a water. Move my researcher track up 1. That is what I will do. So, experimentation on the first round, going to Imperial Basin, getting 3 spice and a water, and drawing a card. Wait, I do not get a water. Why did I think I got a water out of that? No, that's not how that works. That's not a signet ring. So, in fact, I just get 3 spice, not 4, but I draw a card, and it's a reconnaissance. Oh, wonderful. That's great. So, with that, what I would be doing is I've got 1, 2, 5. Yeah, I would have 5 persuasion this round, which doesn't do a whole lot for me yet. Maybe the move is to... What do I need more, though? I've already drawn a card, so I can't... Yeah, unfortunately, I can't, like, retract my move. That's a disappointment. I was just thinking maybe I ought to have gone to smuggling, pop this down, go to High Council next round so I can start maybe getting some spice must flow. But, you know, I got to live with my decision and deal with it. So, great. Now, with that being said, Shai Halud is gone off the board, so buying that wouldn't be as good anymore. That's disappointing, but that's okay. So now we're going to go to Count Ilban Richis, and what does he do? Rakim, and he gets a Signet Ring ability, which gives him Solari, and he gets a troop in his garrison, pushes it in, gives him 2. Moritani will go to Still Suits, and that will get him a victory point, putting him in the lead, and he has no troops to push in, so now it goes back to me. What did I want to do? What I was thinking of doing was going to Rakeen, but to do what? There's, like, no good cards I want to buy. You know? Like, Shai Halud is gone. Oh, I know what I could do. Haha! Nuke the Imperium row. That's what I want to do. Maybe a good card will come up after all. Let's see here, because that's going to determine whether I go to Arrakeen or Carthag. So let's see. Truthsayer. Stilgar. That will be good for me drawing another Truthsayer. Wow. A negotiated withdrawal and a gene manipulation card. So let's begin with Truthsayer. It's an Emperor and Bene Gesserit card for 3 persuasion. Let's do the Emperor and Bene Gesserit spaces and green spaces. When you discard a card, you get to draw a card, and you get 1 persuasion and 1 combat. Stilgar for 5 persuasion is a Fremen card. Lets you go to Fremen spaces, blue spaces, and yellow spaces, and you get 1 water when you use him. You get 2 persuasion and 3 combat on a reveal. Negotiated withdrawal for 4 persuasion lets you get a troop when you buy it, lets you go to green, blue, and yellow spaces, does nothing for you on an agent phase, but on a reveal phase, you get 2 persuasion and retreat 3 of your units to increase 1 of your faction markers by 1. Gene manipulation is a Bene Gesserit card, and for 3 persuasion, when you buy it, you get to go to green and blue spaces, trash a card, and if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you get yourself 2 spice, and on a reveal, 2 persuasion. Yeah, Stilgar is the card to get. Absolutely. I don't need any other card but Stilgar. So I'm going to use my Reconnaissance. I get to draw a card anyway, so go for that. But yeah, I will go to Carthag. Actually, I should go to Siege Tabor, because then I would get a water and a troop. And I will do that, and I'll draw a card. And I need water so I can start using this card, Sayadina, as soon as possible. I'd like to do that to get some victory points. So, Reconnaissance, grafted with a Twi'leksu Infiltrator. I will take my second agent, go to Siege Tabor, get myself a troop here. They still have a bunch of troops, and I would be able to push in for combat, but I have no other way of generating. I got 1 additional combat point, so I'd get from 6 to 7. I would get a water and 2 troops. I might as well try it. It puts me at 6. I will give myself a water now, and I'm going to draw a card. Great experimentation. That's actually kind of good. So let's see here. I'm at 3, 5, 6 total persuasion points. Great. All right. Now we will move back to count. Oh, it's agent phase 2 as of that round. And we will see what Richis wants to do. He will harvest spice, which means he's going to go to Hagabazin. He has no troops, so he's just going to get 5 spice. I'll just give him, man, this guy's hoarding a ton of spice. Moritani will go to Conspire. This is actually good because it looks like I have a chance of actually winning this combat. And it goes to me now to reveal. So I will quickly, on my reveal step, I'm going to put a specimen in the Oxalotl tank as per my experimentation. Then, as per Chris Knife, move my tracker on the Fremen up 1. That's nice, because it looks like I'm going to be able to get that Fremen track pretty soon. The Fremen Alliance coin. That's nice. And then, because I have 6 persuasion, yes, I will buy Stilgar. Thank you. I'm really making use of the water I'm getting. Oh, Duncan, Idaho, come on. What is up with this? I'm actually kind of surprised that there seems to be, and it's suspicious that I am Count Ariana Thorvald and that my Imperium row is giving me so many cards that I can utilize water with, and it's making me be like if it just appears like as if it's rigged that way or something, like as if I had like looked at the cards, but I swear I didn't. I just shuffled everything, table shuffled. That stack I shuffle, table shuffle into 5 piles, and then compile them all together, and then do a quick like jumble, and then put them on the pile. And I do that with everything. So it's completely random. It's just, I guess, serendipitous. Anyways, with that being said, we are now out of my reveal phase, and we're getting now back to agent phase 3. See what Richeese wants to do. He's going to harvest spice, and Richeese has no more combat, but more spice for this guy. He gets himself 4 spice. But instead of that, I'm going to take back 1 of his spice and give him a 5 token. He's got a ton of spice, so he's ready to buy some stuff out of the planet Ix, that's for sure. Right, so now we're going to go to Moritani, who will go to Carthag and get himself a troop, push it into combat, which only gives him 2 combat points. And he moves his Twi'leksu tracker up 1. All right, wonderful. So now, with that being said, we're going to get into combat now. So it begins with me, and with Chris Knife, I get 1 combat point. So I go from 6 to 7. That's all the combat I get. So with that being said, let's see what Richeese wants to do. He gets 3 combat. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what Moritani wants to do. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to take it. I'll tell you why. I win first place. I get to choose 2 factions to get an increase with, and because they tied, they get nothing. Ha! This is a total success round. Awesome. I'm happy with that. Now, what 2 factions do I want to increase? I think I want to increase. Part of me is like, go to Fremen, but honestly, I'll be taking Fremen spaces a lot, so I'm not terribly concerned about that. Maybe I could do all the desert spaces have been utilized, so none of them will be getting spice next round. That spice is going to be taken pretty soon. I have my Chome tracker. I'm basically at a point now where I can forget about High Council being a thing. I don't see. I mean, we're getting into the 5th round, and I still haven't got any Solari. I've used the 1 that I got, so Solari is just not something that I'm rich in this game. I have 3 spice, so maybe the move is I go down on my Chome track, get 2 spice. Find a way to get find a way. I'd like to get a Hayliner at some point to get those 2 waters. It's just hard to get spice with Ariana. Tricky. What do I want to do? I got to think about the factions I want to increase. That's the thing. So yeah, I will definitely take 1 and bump up Spacing Guild by 1. And I have a Bene Gesserit card. I don't see myself going to the Emperor track, so I could just kiss that victory point goodbye. I don't see it happening. So Bene Gesserit 1? There. All right, that's it. So they don't get anything in this combat. And now that there will be no spice put onto the board, and we're going to return the combat trackers to their home positions. We will return troops to their supplies. We will flip the next conflict card. Siege of Arrakeen is on the board. We'll move this agent space, move that to round 5, put this back to 1. Roll the Imperium Row dice. 1 and 3 are gone. Both Truthsayers are gone. That's kind of funny. Okay, so Duncan, Idaho remains on the board, and we've got Stillsuit Manufacturer and Lisan Al-Gaib. So Lisan Al-Gaib for 4 persuasion allows you to get 1 spice. It lets you go to Fremen spaces, blue spaces, and yellow spaces. And if you have another Bene Gesserit card in play, you can increase your Fremen tracker up by 1 if you have Fremen Bond, 2 combat points, and 1 persuasion. That's actually a good card. It gets you 1 spice. Now, Stillsuit Manufacturer is a Fremen card, And for 5 persuasion, it lets you go to Fremen spaces and blue spaces. You get 1 water when you use it, and if you have the Alliance coin, return this card from play to your hand. That is a card I will have to get next turn for sure. Yes, and you get 1 persuasion and Fremen bond. If you have a Fremen bond, you get 2 spice. So I have to get Still Suit Manufacturer. That's a card that's got to happen because I will have that Alliance coin soon. Okay, great. So everything has been resolved. I will put the first player token up here with Reachie's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. I'm going to quickly shuffle my discard pile and turn it into my deck now. I'll shuffle it twice. Now we will return all agents back to their home positions. This guy gets his Dreadnought back. Here and here. And 2 and 1. Great. Count Ilban Reachies, what do you want to do? He's going to go to Arakin. And he will use his Signet Ring ability, which gives him a Solari. And he gets a troop into his garrison, and he pushes it into combat, which generates him 2 points of combat. Moritani will not go to Arakin because that space is used, and now I need to shuffle the House Hagal deck. Okay, I shuffled it twice. Moritani. Secrets. Oh, he's going to take that Alliance coin. All right, now it goes to me. I've got only 4 cards in my hand. Let me draw a card real quick. Ah, goodness. I have a Signet Ring. And then I can use Diplomacy to, yeah, so, dang it. No. I would go, so first thing I want to do is, yeah. I have to use it on an agent phase in order to utilize the victory point. So, okay, actually, it's not so bad. What I could do is, what can I do? I'd like to get water. I need water. So how do I do that? I'm down to 1 water. I could go to, right. Okay, so first turn I go to Siege Tabor, right? Then I go to, I would get my water. And then with this card, I can go to Selective Breeding and draw a bunch of cards. So right now I'm at 4 persuasion points. And I would get a victory point out of that as well. And then I would get a victory point with the water. So 2 victory points this round. Arakin is on the line. This is what we got to do to win. This is what we got to do. So to begin with, I could go to Siege Tabor with Signet Ring. I got to do that first before I can do anything else. I will get 2 waters because I'm using my Signet Ring. And I will generate a troop and put it into the garrison. Unfortunately, I don't think I have what it takes to win this combat at this time, especially since there's no other troops I can generate. So I'm just going to let him sit there. And that's going to be it. So let's move forward to Agent Phase 2. And this guy's going to go to Hardy Warriors. See, I'm glad that I didn't... Oh, whoops. I he just got himself a victory point. I'm glad I did not get involved in this combat, but I mean, it would have been crazy for me to do that anyway. But he does generate himself 2 troops, and they do get into this combat, because that is a combat space. So he goes from 2 to 6 combat points. And now it goes to Moritani, who will go to Arakin, but he cannot because that space has already been utilized. Cannot go to Arakin. He cannot harvest spice. He can go to the research station, and he moves his tracker 1, 2, and he gets himself an intrigue card. So he's down to 2 intrigue cards. If he gets one more of those, oopsies, I accidentally, no, that's just a shadow, I guess. I thought I saw that he had, I thought I accidentally gave him an additional intrigue card, but it was just a shadow. Okay, so now it goes back to my second turn. I have the 3 water, so the question becomes, where do I go? What would I buy? Let's see, I wanted still suits. I wanted still suits manufacturer. But what would I buy with that? Okay, let me look at this. Alliance, which is something I will get. Now, I could still do this, go to still suits, get that alliance coin, but then that would be it for me in terms of, oh yeah, since I used my signet ring, I'm actually at 3 persuasion now. So if I go to selective breeding, I have a chance of getting still suit manufacturer. So I think I will do that. Yeah, I will. It's a smarter move. I'll use 2 spice, but I'll get that Bene Gesserit victory point out of the way, so might as well. And I will spend the 3 water. So yes. Using Sayadina, I will go to selective breeding. I will get to trash out a card, which, yes, I will destroy this dagger card. And I will get to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Oh, right. Great. So on my reveal turn, I will get this alliance coin. Awesome. Okay, cool. So anyways, very, very cool. I drew Stilgar and Chris Knife as my 2. And what does that do for my reveal phase? I've got exactly 5 persuasion now. So that's exactly enough to get still suit manufacturer. Now I've got to bump my tracker up 1, which gives me a victory point right here. All right, wonderful. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. It turned out quite nice. So let's get on to agent phase 3. Harvesting spice cannot be achieved, but looks like he's going to go to Carthag. He's going to generate himself a troop, put it into combat, 1, 2. He's going to move his Twi'leksu tracker 1, take 2 spice. Gosh, this guy, all his spice. But he does get himself a victory point. And he's going to destroy Peter, Genius Advisor. Goodbye, Peter. Not Peter. Peter, you are gone. From the tanks for 2 specimen, lets you to green spaces and gets you 2 troops. On a reveal phase, 1 persuasion point. Okay. All right. And so now we're going to go to Moritani, who takes Hayliner. Oh, man. He gets 3 troops added to his garrison, and with his dreadnought, that's going in. So this will be an interesting combat. That's 6 plus 3, putting him at 9 combat points. All right, so now it goes to my reveal turn, and I have Stilgar and Chris Knife, so I will have the Fremen Bond. I will now move this tracker up 1, take this victory point, give myself a water, so I will take this water. Oh, goodness, I forgot to spend the 3 water. There, I am down to 1 water. Those 3 water got spent so I can get that victory point last round, which means I'm actually at 5. Because I was supposed to get 2 victory points that round. And so I didn't remember to do that. So yeah, anyways, now I'm going to get another victory point. So that puts me at 6 because of this alliance. But before I get too ahead of myself, I just want to rewind this video footage for a second to see if I did genuinely forget to do that. And let's find out. How far back into this do we need to go? Yeah, I'm not on selective breeding yet. So there's selective breeding. I bumped up the tracker. I'm sitting at, yeah, I moved that tracker up one, that ties me. And then I forgot to give myself that second victory point. So yes, that is all. We are on the right track. I did do everything accordingly. We are on the right track as of now, which is good. So yes, I am in the lead, with a comfortable lead right now, having done all this. And yes, I'm happy with that. So what else is there that I need to do? That's it. So now we're going to go into combat. So it would go to Richis next, who gets himself 2 combat points. And, oh, 1, 2, sorry. 1, 2, that's 10. All right, now Moritani will get 1. They tie. Aha, that means they both get 4 Solari, which is good. Nobody gets a victory point. Nobody gets a Rakeen. But Richis is now at 6 Solari. 1 more of those that he gets a victory point. So that has turned out very good for me indeed. This has been a lucky game. His Dreadnought will go to the Imperial Basin. The winnings have been resolved. So these spaces will now get their spices. Return the combat trackers to their home positions. Returning the troops to their supplies. This next round is going to be wide open. I could probably get involved in this combat. Flip this next conflict card. Moving into round 6. I definitely think I should go for it. Oh, and I forgot to spend the 2 spice, by the way, for selective breeding. How silly of me. I don't want to forget to do that. I got to pay closer attention to my costs. I'm pretty good about not forgetting, though I do make mistakes. But, like, it's these kinds of mistakes, they're costly. I don't want to get ahead of myself and screw up the whole game. Okay, so where are we at now? Return the persuasion tracker, return this to space 1, and 6 and 2. Duncan, Idaho, you're out of here. Oh man, that's right. On my reveal phase, I was going to buy still suit manufacturer. Why didn't I do that? What happened? I must have got distracted because I was like, oh, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that, and that was my reveal phase. So yeah, I must have just got distracted and forget to do that. So I'm doing it now. I was going to buy that card. I just got distracted, making sure I didn't screw anything up. So yeah, with that being said, we'll just replace that, and then we will now get rid of Duncan, Idaho. Yeah, you see how easily you can get tangled? So let's just read this out. Spice Trader, 4 persuasion. It's a Fremen card. It lets you go to blue and yellow spaces. If you have 2 influence, you can discard the card for 2 spice. It gives you 2 persuasion and 1 combat point on a reveal. 4 humanity, for 7 persuasion, you can go to Bene Gesserit, green and yellow spaces. It lets you move a tracker up 1 when you use it. If you have the Bene Gesserit Alliance, you can move a tracker down 2 to get a victory point. Oh, nice. I don't think 4 humanity would be of any use to me, but I've never seen that card on the Imperium row. So that's cool. It's the first time I've ever seen that card come up. Okay, where are we at? We have resolved the winnings. I destroyed that card. I noticed that I forgot to buy this, so it's been bought. I'm so sorry. This last round was really messy. I apologize for all that. But I do sincerely believe I'm now on the right track. And so we will return the agents back to their home positions. Right. We are on the right track as of now. So I'm happy with how that has been resolved. I'm in a comfortable lead, but I'm not too comfortable because I do know this game has a way of catching up to you. All right, now what else is there to do? Move the first place tracker to Moritani. What will he do? He will go to Carthage on his first turn. Wrong color. Sorry about that. And he generates himself a troop, pushes it into combat, putting him at 2 combat points. He draws an intrigue card. Oh my god, I keep reading the board space and not reading this. He moves his tractor up 1 and gets himself a victory point, and he destroys Stitched Horror. And we reveal Face Dancer Initiate for 1 specimen. You can go to Emperor, Spacing Guild, and Fremen Spaces if you graft the card, and you get 1 persuasion. That could be a way I could get a victory point over here with the Spacing Guild. So maybe I'll do that on my reveal phase, use that specimen, buy that card, and maybe down the road use it. Okay, so right, so that's what he did. He pushed his troop in, it's been destroyed, he got his victory point. Good for him. Now we're going to move to me. I got to draw my cards. So I will draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty then. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 persuasion. What I'm thinking of doing right now is, okay, I've got these 2 experimentations and a reconnaissance. At this point in the game, Solari, what is that going to do me, right? What good could that do me? Really, none. So it's not something I want. So what I could do is I would go to... What I could do is graft my experimentation onto Twi'leksu Infiltrator, and I would go to... Where would I go with that? I would go to... No, I'm actually not going to do that. Instead, I will... If I go to Imperial Basin now, I would harvest only 1 spice. But why would that be of any use to me? I would get to draw a card, but I could already draw a card. So maybe the best thing I can do right now is actually graft Twi'leksu Infiltrator onto Reconnaissance, go to Siege Tabor, get a 2nd water, and put a troop in, put 2 troops in, maybe win this combat. I mean, it's worth a shot, right? I mean, they don't have any troops, so we could get lucky. And oh boy, yeah, it's a hard one to beat, but I'm feeling lucky. And so yeah, and then the next round I would go to a place to get some spice and draw another card, and we'll see what I would get with all of that. Geez, it's just so crazy how all these Fremen cards are showing up, but it's getting to a point now where I don't want to do anything because I don't want to fill up my deck with a bunch of junk anymore. Lisan Al-Gaib is still a good card. I could get that spice from it. I might buy that just for the spice. I need spice. I could go to Conspire. Things could happen. Anyway, let's just move forward with my round. Reconnaissance attached to Twi'leksu Infiltrator. Because Twi'leksu Infiltrator is grafted, I get to draw a card. And I will gain a water and a troop. So we will do that. Putting my agent here. And that is going to do what for me? Let's see. Pardon me, I just realized that I forgot to start the next... There. Okay. I need to get a troop into my garrison. Push it in. That's going to put me at 4. This is a really stupid move, especially on the first round, but yeah, it needs to be done. But really, does it need to be done? What am I doing? Why would I get involved in this combat? There's no way in heck I have a chance. Although I am drawing a card next round. I'm drawing a card now, so let me just shuffle my discard pile. Before I commit to combat, let me just see what I get in my card that I draw. Let me give myself the water. Let's see what I draw. I'm a little scatterbrained tonight, aren't I? I'm all over the road. I got to think clearly. All right, let's see what I draw. Signet ring. So that would be good, but why? I would be able to generate a water, and yeah, potentially I could go to a Rakeen, and that would leave me wide open for a victory point next round. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I'd be able to put 2 specimen in the Oxalotl tank at the end of this round. Why? I would use Signet Ring to go to Imperial Basin, give me my 1 spice, but then do what with that? I don't know. Sheesh. I'm so far away from being able to use Hayliner. And I don't want to use my waters because that's my victory points. But I would get to draw another card if I go to Imperial Basin, which would do what for me? Right now I'm sitting at 5 persuasion. So, all right. I have more time to think about it. Let's get on over to Reachis, who will go to Conspire. That's his first Emperor track move for the game, and he generates 2 troops into his garrison. And they just sit there because that's not a combat space. Now we're going to go to Moritani, who goes to Tech Negotiation. This is Agent Phase 2, by the way. Tech Negotiation for the guy. And yeah, he's lucky because he has enough for, let's see, he's going to buy, he doesn't have any spice. Are you kidding me? He has no spice? This whole game, he's got no spice? He can't get memo quarters. He has a tech negotiator in there, and he still can't get memo quarters. He has no spice. So he just gets to put another guy in the tech negotiation space. That's it for him. Wow, that's disappointing. All right, now it goes back to me. This combat is looking like I could take it. So what will I do? I will have to draw a card. That's a thing that will happen no matter where I go. I can go here and get 2 spice. If I go to smuggling, I don't know if that's harvesting spice, though. I believe harvesting spice is only in these 3 spaces. I could be incorrect about that, but let me just double check the rules. Now, the wording on this says gain 2 spice. It doesn't say harvest spice. And I think that's important because harvesting can only happen from desert spaces. And the Chom track, if you're thinking about the storyline, the theme of the game, is not being harvested. It's just being given to you from the Spacing Guild, right? So I do think things like this terminology really does matter because it's not technically harvesting spice. And I do think that that terminology, the wording on that, thematically makes more sense. And I'm just double checking to ensure that I'm getting this correct because, yeah, let's see here. Harvesting spice. There are 3 board spaces on Arrakis with a maker icon where you may harvest spice, the Great Flat, Haga Basin, and Imperial Basin. When you send an agent to one of them, you gain the base value of spice shown on the space, plus any bonus spice that has accumulated there. So, yeah, that seems to make more sense. Just gaining spice someplace. Like, let's say that I was on the Twi'lektu track and I was the first one here. Getting those 2 spices, that's not harvesting, that's just gaining spice. Same as over here. So I would avoid drawing cards. If I did this, if I took my signet ring, I would generate the water. I would go to smuggling, and I would go down, get 2 spice, but I wouldn't be harvesting. So I'd just get 2 spice. That'd put me at 3, and I get 1 water. But that would also ensure that I get the card I want in the next couple rounds for a victory point. Then I would buy Face Dancer Initiate, so I could eventually, I don't know, I guess I'd just be clogging up my deck at that point. Or I could get Lisan Al-Gaib, which would give me 4 spice at the end of this round, so I can go to the Emperor track. That's a thing that could be done, and we'll see how that resolves itself. So, yeah. You know what, though, I might do is I might go to the Chom track, go down, and it is now my turn, so I need to do this. Yeah, I might actually take the Solari instead of the spice so I can get a Mentet. That would be important. Right. That's what I should do with the signet ring, and I will. I will use my signet ring, and I will bump my persuasion tracker down 1. Actually, it's going to put me at exactly 4 persuasion now. I will go to smuggling. I will get myself 1 Solari. I will get myself 1 water for using my signet ring. And I will bump my tracker down 1, which gives me 8 Solari. Here we go. That gives me 9 total Solari. So now I can start using the Mentet, which is good. All right, wonderful. Now we're going to go back up to Richis, who cannot go to Conspire. He's already gone there. He will harvest spice. Golly, this guy. Enough with the harvesting spice. We get it already. I'll just take back 1 of his spices and give him a 5 token. Golly. Enough. All right. More Tawny for Agent Phase 3. Dreadnought. There it is. He goes to Dreadnought, and he gets his 2nd Dreadnought. God. All right. I could go into... Oh, I can't. I could have had a chance at combat this round. How stupid am I? It's too late. I can't get involved now. It would be dishonest. Look at this. This guy's going to be fighting for 1. Oh, man. How dumb am I? Oh, well. Oh, so he has no spice. So, oh, actually, I take that back. He can buy a Tactile for 2. And he gets to bump one of his trackers up 1. Yes, and so we will now reveal this. It's Chamurki, which for 4 spice, you can get 2 intrigue cards. And when you end the game, you win all tiebreakers. Now, he has to move one of his faction spaces. Where will he go? Let's just give him his Bene Gesserit so he can get 2 victory points out of that. That's what makes most sense. He's trying to get the most amount of victory points. So he will get himself an intrigue card from that, which gets him a... Yeah, he gets himself a victory point, an intrigue card from getting that marker. That's 3 intrigue cards. That's a victory point, tying him with me. Then he takes the alliance token, and that gets him a victory point, putting him ahead of me by 1. Boom. That was devastating. He's about to win combat and get himself another victory point and an alliance token. So, golly, what a jerk. Okay, let's get into the reveal phase now. For me, I will put 2 specimen in the axolotl tank. And didn't I say I was going to buy Face Dancer? Yes, I did. For, might as well. I'm not using these specimen for anything else. Well, maybe I should put in 2 troops so I can get involved in combat next round. That's what's smarter. I'm going to do that. 3 specimen to generate 2 troops into my garrison. And I will now buy Lizan al-Gaib. Get myself 1 spice. Reveal the next card. Opulence for 6 persuasion. Allows you to go to Emperor spaces, and you get 3 Solari. You get 1 persuasion, and for 6 Solari, you get to buy a victory point. All right. So now that was my reveal phase, and we go back to Agent Phase 3 for Richis, who will go to Fold Space, and that will get him a victory point. Boom. Great. So how lame is that? I could have gotten involved in this combat and had a fair shot at doing something useful, and I didn't utilize it. That is so lame. And I thought it was wide open, but it just was too sketch. So how disappointing that this guy is going to get, let's see here, from 2 to 6 and win on that alone. So he will get 2 intrigue cards for taking first place. I'm just double checking here. How is it? Let me just see. He went there to get those 2 troops, didn't he? Yes, he did. And that's not a combat space. That was his first round. Ah, here it is. Okay, so I did make a mistake. So in his first round, he got Conspire, which he went there, and that's all well and good. And then on his second round, he harvested Spice. Yep. Yeah, so here we go. He went to Conspire, then 1. Let's see here. All right, so Carthag, then Conspire, then Tech Negotiation, then Conspire, but he already went there, so he harvested Spice. So he should have 2 troops in, so it is a combat, because with the first Conspire, he got 2 troops, and then he didn't go into combat, but he did go to harvest Spice, and I forgot to push in his troops at that point. That was my mistake. Yeah, I was looking at this going, I know that it doesn't make sense that he'd be by himself. So then his third space was Fold Space, which, yeah, we are now back on track. So that would mean then, yeah, so it went to me, then him, and so actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see who it actually goes to. So it was me for my reveal phase. Then it went to him for Dreadnought, Fold Space, which, yeah, that's his last round. And then it went back to Moritani. So Moritani does, in fact, yes, that's right. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure. And then it goes back to Richis, who blanks out. So What does Reecheese get? He gets himself, for second place, a intrigue card and 1 spice. And what does first place get? He gets to bump his tracker up 1. That's going to get him 3 Solari. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, sorry, I guess maybe I'm just a little tired. I don't know what it is, in all seriousness. My mind is not with me. But yeah, so he moved his tracker up 1. He got 2 intrigue cards. 1 and 2. And he now has 2 alliance coins, which means another victory point here, red, and he also has 7 Solari now, which somehow I forgot to notice. I didn't notice that he had an extra 7 Solari. So he's got 7 Solari. That'll give him a victory point, and he's dangerously in the lead now. Yikes. Okay. So I really needed to win that round, and it didn't work out for me, did it? That's okay. It is what it is. Maybe now I have a chance in the next round. We'll see how it shakes out. Goodness gracious. So I'm now losing. All right. So the winnings have been resolved. We got to put spice out onto the board here and here. And we are going to return combat trackers. Return troops to their supplies. This guy returns his dreadnought here. He puts his other dreadnought was in the garrison the whole time. So he has 2 dreadnoughts. Flip the next conflict, which is, all right, that's not too shabby in the 7th round. And then we move to the agent phase. Move persuasion tracker all the way back down. And roll the Imperium Row dice. 1 and 3. So say goodbye to opulence and for humanity. It's going to be Bene Gesserit Initiate and Twi'lexu Master. Bene Gesserit Initiate is a Bene Gesserit card, and for 3 persuasion, it allows you to go to green, blue, and yellow spaces, and on an agent phase, you can draw a card, but on a reveal phase, you get 1 persuasion. Moving on down to the 3rd space, you have Twi'lexu Master for 5 persuasion. It allows you to go to green and yellow spaces, and if you have 1 genetic marker, you may acquire a card that costs 6 or less, but if you have 2, you can put that card in your hand. And on a reveal phase, you get 1 persuasion, and you can move your research track, not 1, but 2 spaces. Right on. Okay, great. So at least in this round, I get to go first. And yeah, so it's not looking good for me in all seriousness. I feel like I've made some mistakes. You know, I don't know what I could do differently. I've bought a lot of cards. Maybe that was my biggest mistake. But if I hadn't done that, I would not have. I've been drawing that card too frequently. You know, the one that I've to get that water for a victory point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, this is good. This is very, very good. Now get a load of this. I've got Fremen Bond. Many, many different directions. Huh. So, Hmm. I'd be able to get a victory point this round, but I have to go to Bene Gesserit. So what I could do is spend I would go to, yeah, what I would do in all seriousness is I'm just going to have to cross my fingers that a Bene Gesserit space or a Fremen space is open next round. I feel like it's achievable. But yeah, I'm going to use Stillsuit Manufacturer to go to Hardy Warriors so I can push in for combat points as much as possible. And then yeah, that's what I think I'll do. And the beauty of Stillsuit Manufacturer is as long as I have the Alliance coin with the Fremen, I get to take this card and put it back into my hand, which means I would get the Fremen Bond effect down the road. So he's even better than Stilgar in that regard. I'm going to be maxing out my Fremen track this round, but let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 persuasion total right now. Yeah, so correct. Okay, great. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I will use Stillsuit Manufacturer, and I'm going to take my first agent and go to Hardy Warriors, spend a water, but immediately gain back a water as per the card commands, and bump my tracker up 1, generate 2 troops into my garrison, push them into combat along with 2 additional troops. That's going to put me at 8 combat points. Yes. And then I will not put this in my play area. I will just put it right back into my hand. And then we're going to move on to Reachis, who goes to tech negotiation. Finally, he can buy himself a freaking card. And it's going to be, dude, busted. Chamurky, he wins all tiebreakers. So that's going to cost him a mere 3 spice as opposed to 4 because he has a negotiator in there. So 1, 2, and 3. And when he buys it, he gets 2 intrigue cards, which gives him a victory point and 1 intrigue card left. So what we will do is just put these 2 cards on to the trash pile, give him a victory point, and put that right there for him. Then we will reveal the next tech tile. Sorry, I accidentally picked up 2 spy satellites for 4 spice. At the end of the game, if you spend 3 spice and trash the tech tile, you get a victory point. And at the end of the game, it's worth 1 victory point for each faction where you have 1 or less influence. That could be good for me in all seriousness because I would get 2 victory points if I did that. But if I win this combat, what would I do with it? I could overtake the Bene Gesserit space and bump him down. That's what I could do because I'm going to go to selective breeding next turn anyway. And if I win this combat, I could steal it. Yes, that would tighten the game up again. That's what I think I got to do. Okay. Great. Moritani will go to... Dang it, dude. Why does this happen? Man, come on. That is so weak, dude. Oh my God. At least he's not involved in combat, but seriously? How is it that this is just like a reoccurring nightmare that I've got to live through? Every time I play this game, I like declare my strategy, and House of Gaul just pulls the rug right out from under my feet every time, man. Oh, dude, busted. That is so weak. Oh my God, it's so weak. Okay. It's not all over. It is not all over. I can go to secrets and still bump my tracker up 1. But if I did that, the only other choice I could have to gain a second victory point, I can't tighten it up and steal his coin, is I could take the Emperor track victory point, and that would be a free victory point. So, golly, man. That is just so lame. Disappointed. All right. It is now my turn. So we've gone to Agent Phase 2. I just have to like seethe a little bit on that. I will use Sayadina and take my guy and go to Secrets. And that is going to bump me up 1 on that track. I get to take an intrigue card. Please be a combat. Okay. Oh, dude, it's a total useless intrigue card. Corner of the market. See, my luck is turning. I will spend 3 waters at least and get a victory point. Ah, man, my luck is just going bad now. I have okay combat situation, especially since I have 4 more points I can add to the conflict. Yeah, and so, okay. Let's just hope this goes well. Reachis, what do you want to do? Reachis will go to interstellar shipping all the way over here. He stays out of combat. He moves his tracker up 2. That's it. Then it goes to Moritani, who's the real danger of the game. He goes to Wealth, and he's out of combat. Nice. At least for now, he's out of combat. But he does... Oh, dude, he just got himself the 10th victory point, and that puts him in the lead and ends the game after this round. So it doesn't look good for me. It does not look good for me at all. It doesn't seem as though I will have a chance at winning this game. So let's see what I can do at least. There is absolutely nothing I can do. Yeah, disappointed. Okay, so we went from Moritani to me. And yeah, so I will bump up my tracker 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, putting me at 12. Likely I'm going to win. I'll get 2 spice because of that Fremen card I have here. And I will lock in my position with Chris Knife. The Fremen Bond ability allows me to move that tracker up 1. So I'm at 2, 4, 5 persuasion. And it does absolutely nothing of any good for me. I didn't draw any way of getting the Mentat this space either, so that's kind of disappointing as well. Corner of the market. What a useless card. Okay, so that was my reveal phase, and now we're starting Agent Phase 3, and this is the end of the game, so I will have lost without a doubt. There's just seemingly no way it's going to get turned around. I'm just disappointed because, gosh. I just wish he didn't take the space that I wanted. Oh, that was literally everything too, you know, like it all depended on that one thing. He can't go there, he can't go there. He can go to interstellar shipping. I'm sorry, still suits. He bumps his tracker up 1, and it's a combat space, but he has no troops. And so now it goes to Moritani, who will get a Dreadnought. He already has 2 Dreadnoughts, so we got to draw another card. And he cannot go to interstellar shipping, so he will go to Harvest Spice. He will push in his Dreadnoughts. That puts him at 6 combat points, and he gets 4 spice. Man. And what does that do for him? Nothing at this point. So now we will go to combat phase. And it's looking good for me, but Moritani is who we got to look out for. He only gains 1. I get an intrigue card. Please be useful. Take the Mentat. Wow, useless. Okay. And I can bump a tracker up 2 spaces. So yeah, I mean, like, look, let's just look at this, okay? Like, I'm in 2nd place. I lose. I can move the Emperor track and get a victory point, and that would put me at 8, but I'm still in 2nd place and I lose. Or I could move the Bene Gesserit tracker up 1, not get a victory point, but get an intrigue card, and that intrigue card, see, this is what we got to do. That intrigue card could have a way of generating a victory point, which would be where I was going to be anyway if I use the Emperor track. Who knows? It might generate 2 victory points. I don't know. But let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Of course. He's going to get... Oh, dude, he's there's just no way. Because as a second place reward, he gets an intrigue card, and that's his 3rd intrigue card. So he gets another victory point, and he gets 3 spice. Oh, this is such a bad game. It went so well at certain parts, too. It was going so well for me at certain parts. But yeah, so I'm going to do that because screw it. Why not? It's always fun to reveal stuff just for funsies. Oh, wasted. None of my entry cards were of any use to me. I think I used 1 this whole game, if I remember. And it was like, what was it? It was Cole. And everything else was these guys just dominating the game entirely. Oh, dude. Now, I gotta tell you, Moritani has been an extremely difficult competitor to play against. Every time I go against him, he seems to just take the lead and run away with it. He's a tough cookie. I feel like it would be really fun to go against him and that Dreadnought guy. I can't remember his name. But, well, you know, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? That's a good question. What could I do differently? What I did wrong, I think, was I barely utilized her character, Ariana Thorvald's character ability to harvest spice and draw a card. I only did that once that I can think of this entire game. And I really was having a ton of fun with the water ability to generate victory points. But I think I may have made a mistake in buying just too many cards out of the Imperium row. Maybe that was a huge mistake. And I felt like I was doing a good job of like counterbalancing it because like I trashed something like 3 cards this whole game, you know, like I trashed 2 daggers and a Seek Allies, and let's just count how many cards I had in my deck in its entirety. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13 is actually kind of on the brink of like 13, you know, that's actually a bit much. That's, yeah, especially when I'm trying to draw cards. But it's like, yeah, to utilize, for what though? I'm trying to draw cards for what? To utilize the Fremen Bond. And so that definitely worked for me. It's just, and to hopefully draw Sayadina and get all this water. So I was very water rich this game. And what do I wish I could do differently? I really wish I had somehow found a way to utilize the Emperor track or the Spacing Guild track to get those 2 victory points. But in the end, it still would not have been enough. So it just isn't really, it just wasn't my day. It just wasn't my day. I had moments where I really enjoyed the flow of feeling the energy going, seeing this engine, you know, cook with gas. But in the end, Moritani was just faster and better. So with that being said, I lose. My win-lose ratio remains tied. I think I'm I'm like neck and neck. I'm tied up. So what do I have to say about this game? Thorvald is a really challenging character to be. It was a lot of fun to play this game. I enjoyed it, even though I lost. It was a lot of fun to do the strategy with the water. That was so much fun. I really think that was cool. This might have been the most fun I've ever had playing Ariana Thorvald. And unsurprisingly, I still lose. All right, well, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for joining me. Please remember to like and subscribe and share with all your friends. Anybody who likes board games, this is a cool board game to watch being played, and it's only going to get better from here. Like I said, I have a lot of plans for future developments, and things are happening fast. I'm hoping to get better camera production quality. I'm hoping to get better recording quality down the road. That's a big one. The goal is to save $1,500. I'm about halfway there. I mean, $200 for the camera I want to buy, and another $100 for the mat. So I've got a little bit of a hurdle I got to make up for. I got to jump over that $300 gap, but then I'm right back to saving for the computer again. So yeah, that's why I'm about halfway where I want to be. Otherwise, I'd be almost a little over halfway if I didn't have to spend $300 in the near future getting this gaming room set up. So yeah. If it turns out that the camera I buy, which costs $200, is no good, I'll just return it and get that money back, and that just goes right back towards saving into the computer. So with that being said, I bid you all adieu. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for Game 11. Have yourself a good rest of your day. Later.